We are watching the Kennedy Center in D.C. because a federal judge has rejected a last-minute bid to keep Donald Trump's name on that building. We don't know when those letters may be coming down. We do know scaffolding is up there and that the deadline to remove his name is today. It matters to Donald Trump, though, who has battled publicly with the Kennedy Center for years and is focused in his second term on efforts to cement his legacy at the institution. And yet he is losing the legal battle though an appeal is still pending. And the Kennedy Center has already moved some of his name from some of its branding, like on the website and in communications to members, because as U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper said today, quote, Congress gave the Kennedy Center its name and only Congress can change it. Joining us now, Hofstra University law professor James Sample.
Today, on the deadline set by a federal judge, scaffolding went up against the marble walls of the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. And within hours, Donald Trump's name will be physically stripped from the building he tried to claim as his own. The President of the United States just lost a legal battle over a single word, his name. But what's happening here is not really about a name. It's about power, vanity, and a question the Constitution answered 60 years ago. Let me show you exactly what just unfolded.
Who focuses on constitutional law and democracy, director of the Center for Effective Public Management and senior fellow at the Brookings Institution, Elaine Kamarck, author of the Substack newsletter To the Contrary, Charlie Sykes, and MS Now political analyst and Democratic strategist, Basil Smikle. It's great to have all of you guys. What an incredible panel I have. So I'll start with you, James. How much of this do you think is about Trump's culture war, his battle with the courts, or just simply his desire to be respected in the world of media, of entertainment and culture?
If you really were respected, would you need to build monuments to yourself and to override statutory prescriptions that say that a building is in honor of a past president, a president to whom he does not compare? You wouldn't need to do that. This is about vanity, and it's not about the American people. With respect to the judicial ruling, the ruling today is a basic application of a simple principle called irreparable harm. If the government's position, if the Trump administration's position ultimately prevails in this, they can put his name back. But taking it down is the rule for now. And if he wins, there's no irreparable harm because it's not, frankly, that difficult to put the name back. He's not ultimately going to win on this one.
Do you think he has a shot via appeal, though?
I mean, these days, I never say that he doesn't have a shot. That being said, the statute here is clear, and the statute says that Congress controls the Kennedy Center and that the Kennedy Center is named after President Kennedy. It is the idea, the chutzpah, the audacity of this and the smallness of it. On one hand, the audacity is massive, and the smallness of the ask is just as small.
So, Basil, do you think Trump is embarrassed by this? Is it hard for him to watch? I imagine he has some cameras up. He watches TV kind of all day long.
He does.
So he must see that they're preparing.
He watches TV all day long and tweets all night. And so talk about embarrassed in an era of no shame. I don't think it's embarrassment. I think it's why aren't they doing what I want them to do? And before I go any further, I want to shout out Congressmember Joyce Beatty from Ohio, because she's been leading the charge in trying to get the courts and get everybody else to recognize that Congress has a real responsibility here, and that should be recognized, an authority to put names on building and take names off. So she really led the charge, and I want to sort of acknowledge her in that, because one thing that should come from all of this is that Congress has authority. Congress has rights and responsibilities, and what the president has done, whether it's this or most other things he's done in his administration, is to undermine the will of and role of Congress. Now, he's had help with people in Congress and a lot of Republicans that have basically abdicated their responsibility, but there are many who have been pushing back. I don't know that In every instance, they're going to win in the courts, which is kind of what you were alluding to. But the fact is, you have to do it. You have to try. You have to get it done. And again, this isn't about his respect. This is about his vanity, to use your words, because it's not just the name on a building. It's sneakers, it's cell phones, it's banners hanging down from buildings in Washington.
It's America 250 coins that have his face on them.
And passports, right? It's everything. No, I don't know a living person that wants to see their name in lights that much and think that at the end of the day, this is about respect as opposed to raw use of power.
Let me cut through the noise. Here is what actually happened today. A sitting U.S. president tried to put his own name on a building Congress dedicated to John F. Kennedy in 1964. A federal judge, appointed under the rules every president follows, said no, citing a statute so clear it fits in one sentence. The Kennedy Center is named by Congress, and only Congress can rename it. That's not partisan. That's not activism. That's a 60-year-old law being enforced exactly as written. Here's the part most people missed. This wasn't a sudden lawsuit. The push to take Trump's name off the Kennedy Center was led by Congresswoman Joyce Beatty of Ohio. And she didn't just file a complaint. She built a coalition, drafted the legal theory, and forced the executive branch to defend itself in open court. And listen to this. After losing, Trump didn't just appeal. He went after the judge's wife in a public attack. That's not the reaction of a president confident in his case. That's the reaction of a man who knows the law is against him. Now zoom out. Since returning to office, Trump didn't just want his name on the Kennedy Center. He took over the entire board, fired the chairman, billionaire David Rubenstein, installed Richard Grenell to run the place, and announced an overhaul. Performances have been canceled. Donors have walked. Ticket sales have dropped. The Kennedy Center, one of the most prestigious cultural institutions in America, was being absorbed into a personal brand. Today's ruling is the first real wall the courts have put up against that absorption. And that's why this matters far beyond one building. Here's what the legal community is telling me. And what Professor Sample said on air today nailed it. The doctrine here is called irreparable harm. Translation: if Trump wins on appeal, his name goes back up. Easy, no damage done. But if the name stays up while the appeal drags on, and Trump loses, then Congress's authority has been violated for months. And that harm can't be undone. So the judge ruled the way any first-year law student would predict. The fact that the Department of Justice fought this, and lost, tells you everything about how this administration views the limits of its own power. There aren't any, until a judge enforces one. So here's the question I want you to sit with. If a president can be told no over a name on a building, what happens the next time he reaches for something bigger? Because the Kennedy Center fight was never really about marble letters. It was a stress test for the Constitution. And today, the Constitution held. Barely. But here's where I want to hear from you. Drop a comment. Do you think Trump's name should be on the Kennedy Center? Or was Congress right to draw the line? I read every reply. And if you want more breakdowns like this, the kind that go past the headline and into what actually happened, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Because tomorrow, the appeal lands, and we'll be right back here when it does.